Hello. Good to see everybody. Good morning. Let's see if I could do this. Where would you go? Right there? Okay. Well, they say that it is not the strongest that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to, what do you think it is? Of course. I don't know who said this. Was it Darwin? Was it Oprah? Maybe it was my dad. Maybe it was this guy. Oh, we've got no audio there, but he said adapt or die. He couldn't be here today to talk to you about that, so you've got us. And we're really excited to share our story with you. So you're sitting there saying, Grubhub, why now? Why now? Well, why not now? Seriously. It is a moment in time where things are really coming together. Food-obsessed people and food-fickle people, health and wellness is on their minds. They're also busier than ever, time-starved, and the on-demand world is exploding, and everybody wants things right now. Well, these guys were prescient when they started Grubhub 20 years ago. This is Mike and Matt, two Chicagoans who had a love for food and didn't like menus piling up under their door jamb. And they said, we think we've got an idea here. We can aggregate these menus, put them online, and connect hungry diners to restaurants. It's a win-win for everybody. Funny thing about this that many people don't know is it wasn't until 10 years later that they actually started to deliver via Grubhub. It was restaurants doing all the delivery. From the earliest days, this is a brand that's been adapting. It doesn't take much to look at this chart and realize that there's been a lot of twists and turns in the history over 20 years. Starting from the time that the brand was getting built and figuring out who it wanted to be, to the famous delivery dance. I don't know if you have that song in your head, but there's a famous salad woman that came out of that. She's still very popular on TikTok. To the acquisition of Seamless, New York's original food delivery brand, and on to the acquisition of Grubhub by Amsterdam-based Just Eat Takeaway. The brand turned orange, and we sort of morphed into the family of brands under the Just Eat umbrella. And then finally, more recently, an unprecedented partnership with Amazon, which PSA, if you are a Prime member, and I know you all are, you get free Grubhub Plus just by linking your accounts, which means $0 delivery fees on Grubhub. Okay, I had to say that. They made me say that. But all the while, the consumer was becoming a lot more savvy. They became deal hunters, and the competition really heated up. And importantly, the pandemic occurred, which moved our center of gravity in the category from urban centers to the suburbs, where we were not as strong. And if you look at where we are today, we went from the pioneer in the category to a challenger brand. By 2024, we were a distant number 3 with less than 10% market share. And instead of investing like we needed to be in the business to keep up with incredibly stiff competition, we were pretty lean in our go-to-market strategies as Just Eat started to rethink their strategy and put us on the selling block. This led to a lot of creativity, a lot of adaptation upon the team, and some really great work punching above our weight to make sure that we were growing and showing positive results. You'll actually be seeing a great example of that following this presentation, one of the Jay Scheid Award winners from last night. But these were tough times, and on top of it, brand perceptions were diluted, and people saw us as a little bit of old news and a bit basic. Then this guy came along. Anybody know who that is? He looks good, right? That's Mark Laurie. That's our new owner. He bought Grubhub. Mark Laurie is a serial entrepreneur. You may know about him because he founded diapers.com, that little company that sold to Amazon. He then went on, after working for Amazon for a little while, and created Amazon's competitor, jet.com, which he subsequently sold to Walmart. Then, as one does, he decided to start a company that tapped into his passions for food and wellness, and he built from scratch the concept of Wonder. And the Wonder Group, which I'll talk about in a minute, is basically a first-party restaurant, food hall concept. You can eat in, but most of the business is takeout or delivery. And you could order from 30 different restaurant concepts all under one roof. Mark had a vision, he had a plan, and he got investors like Bain Capital, like Google, and Amex Ventures, and raised $600 million in 2024, $700 million in 2025, and counting. This investment was really exciting for Grubhub, but importantly, well, at the time, he hadn't set his sights on Grubhub, but he knew he needed third-party delivery to round out his model, and that got us really excited. Now, his mission was aligned with where Grubhub had started as a brand. It was all about making great food more accessible. And he carried this torch and really created a belief system that was built on food. If anybody has seen Mark speak, he talks about the fact that he is so focused on food that he's developing all kinds of new AI to help people not have to worry at all about what they order, because the app already knows what they want and what their body needs and what their preferences are. But he knew that in order to build this super app for mealtime, he needed what Grubhub had, third-party delivery. And that made us very happy because we were able to get back to our roots and really focus on what brought us to the party and really ensure that we were going to get the investment to do so. It was definitely cause for celebration. We knew we wanted to be out there really focusing on food. We have 400,000 restaurants on our app. We have 400 schools that we are the primary colleges that we are the primary meal plan for. And yet, and we're still building our infrastructure where every day we're signing new restaurants in New York alone, like John's of Bleecker, Momoya, my wife Frida, what's it called? Somebody knows it. Jack's wife Frida, thank you. Not my wife, Jack's. Oops, I think I hit the wrong button. There we go. So from that point onward, our mission was to rethink our brand. We had been given a new lease on life. It was time to adapt once again. We actually had a logo that belonged to our former owner, Just Eat Takeaway, and we reimagined the brand. We didn't jump ship, we just brightened, created energy. We rethought our color palette. We rethought our photography to really tap into the appetizing food that we were all about. And we really just introduced a new energy and a new joy into our brand that had been lacking. our in-house studio created a new Viz ID for the brand, and we were really excited to put it out into the world starting in April. This is just a glimpse, and I hope the music plays. Thank you. We're really proud of that work. But then it was time to really think about what were we going to do to reclaim our roots, put ourselves on the map again. We had some investment, and we really needed to differentiate the brand. So, as one does, we had a review. And a big thanks to AAR, Lisa Colantuano, who's in the room today. There she is, who really helped us get ready for this. We had a competitive review, and we brought in this guy.
Yay.
Wow.
Thanks. All right. Yeah, so there was a pitch, and cool thing, we're going to show some of the work that we've been doing on that at the end of this. And so we pitch started in April, we won it in July, and since then we've been kind of moving towards this work. But given that this is StratFest, I thought it was only fitting that we actually talk a minute about the strategy and how we got there. So the 4 C's, right? As Marnie talked about, Grubhub is foods. Food is Grubhub's heart and soul, right? So the 20 years of connecting restaurants to customers, just bought by Wonder, part of this amazing food ecosystem, right? It's kind of a no-brainer. And the culture matches that, right? So I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but food's been having a moment for the past 10 years. If you go on to TikTok food's constantly trending. While we were working on this, we kind of got obsessed with this thing called the chickle, right? Which is a TikTok food. People put a pickle in a pan and cover it with cheddar cheese, and that's a chickle. People get 17 million views on them making a chickle in their kitchen, which is kind of amazing. TV, right? The Bear, huge. Everyone's watching The Bear. Great British Bake Show. It's been rolling since COVID. Black Rabbit, anybody watching that? Right? Takes place in a restaurant. It's not bad. Jude Law, kind of, Christopher Walken accent, I don't know. But big. And meanwhile, the category itself, right, is actually not leaning into food, right? They're generalists. So when I talk about the category, I'm talking about DoorDash, I'm talking about Uber Eats, right? They're anything you want, anytime, right? They're spending a ton of money, but they don't really care about food in the way the Grubhub does. In the meantime, right, we did a little bit of research. Consumers don't care either, right? They love food delivery, but they don't care who gives it to them, right? It's kind of whichever one has got the better deal, they're going to lean towards, or if they're connected to their favorite restaurant. So that left a real opportunity for us, and here was our creative strategy. Grubhub gives you the power to discover and get all the foods you love, right? And what I love about this is that it's positive. It's active. It's talking about connecting people to foods, right? It's not about the service. It's about this conduit, right? But we didn't want to just talk about how we talk. We didn't want to think about the language. We also wanted to think about how we show up in the world, right? And so when you think about this category, food delivery, right? Undifferentiated services, right? When you start seeing those, and they're big advertisers in the category, semiotics start playing a really interesting role, right? Symbols and colors, right, are part of the way that brands find their way into people's memory. So if I was to say to you, what do these colors represent when you're thinking about the cellular category? Obviously, it's AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, right? T-Mobile's been having a very torrid and public love affair with the color magenta since I can remember, right? And it's working for them. But it's not just necessarily colors, right? It could be characters, insurance, right? Again, something that you can't draw a picture of. I can't draw you a picture of Progressive. I can't draw you a picture of AT&T. I can't draw you a picture of Grubhub, but I can tell you that Geico has a gecko, right? I can't tell you the difference necessarily between Progressive and Allstate, but I can tell you or State Farm, but I can tell you the difference between Flo and Jake, right? So these are just these simple things that people have in their mind to help connect them to these brands. And if we look at delivery, same thing's already going on, right? So Uber Eats is leaning hard on green, right? They're the green one. DoorDash, if I say DoorDash to you and you close your eyes, you think red, right? It's there. Grubhub has a brand new, bright orange, amazing identity. One of our first recommendations for them is let's lean hard on this. Let's carve some real estate in people's brains with orange. Let's put it everywhere. When we start sort of looking beyond that and we just look at the symbols, right? So like when you squint and you look at Uber Eats, they're doing a really nice job, right? It's always a highly expensive celebrity sitting next to a bag of Uber Eats, right? It's the film is kind of milky and high end. They're crushing it, right? Very regular. DoorDash, not so much. They're kind of all over the place, right? But they're spending. They're spending huge, and it kind of makes up for any lack of discipline there. So we thought there's a major opportunity for Grubhub to be simple, memorable, consistent over time and food forward. So here is the brand platform. It's called Summon the Food. This is a graphic you're going to see all over the place. It's big and orange. It's got fabulous food photography front and center. And it's a rally cry. It's a fun thing for people to do whenever they open up the app and presses a button. I'm not going to read this, but this is the manifesto that comes along with this, right? And it's all about connecting you to the foods that you want, those particular fries, that particular burger, right? You know, they know what you want before you even ask, right? Sort of thinking about the future with Mark Laurie, right? So all you have to do is hit that orange button and summon the food. All right, so I'm going to show you a spot now. So this one's a 30. It's not quite finished. It's launching in like a week. So, you know, there's some color and sound that needs to get finished, but I think you'll get the idea.
You're at your child's sports thing, but you want a burrito. You're at a rental house that only has cumin. You're still in a meeting and your brain is melting. You need a chicken sandwich. Burrito come forth. Manifest a white pizza. Chicken sandwich appear on the desk before you. Unleash the Grubhub app on your phone and just
summon the food. Grubhub.
Okay. So, lots of orange. Food is the hero, right? It's all the service is magical, right? It's like that kind of amazing thing when you order delivery. People don't think about it, but it's kind of amazing that you can just press a button and have anything come straight to your house. So that one's got lots, songs, all that kind of thing. There's some more of those coming, but these are some social executions. Let's see if this one goes.
It's what we asked for.
Summon the food. Grubhub. Summon the food. Grubhub.
All right, and then here are some social-only videos that are a little bit more out there for the younger folks.
The complimentary side pickle knows that the answer to the question, are you going to eat your pickle, is always yes.
Summon the food. Grubhub.
The onion, glorious, either crispy or sautéed, it is nothing short of magnificent. But to you, onions taste funny, and you don't want them on your burger.
Summon the food. Grubhub.
Anointed cylindrical pockets forged from the potato, located within a 5-mile radius of your house.
Summon the food. Grubhub.
All right, and some out of home. So, again, big foods, right? Just leaning hard. some buses that are going to be in the city. Right, some cool corner placements. This one's an Oculus placement, right? So it's super neat. That's a really cool spot for video. Right, onion rings are fun. I think all these food is fun. It's such a topic you can just talk a ton about, right? A lot more than just sitting on your couch and wanting to order Taco Bell. You know, we avoided there's a whole other world of this where language starts playing into it. We're trying to stay really regimented with some of the food, but you can see how language can start being fun, right? Another side pickle joke. Side pickles are hilarious. Here's pastrami. And this one's cool. This is happening in Chicago, which they're actually making a really neat one. Yeah, so that's that. So, Marnie, what's next?
Thank you, Deacon. Really excited about this work hitting the world. You guys are our first audience, so glad you like it. What's next? You'll just have to watch and see where we go next. We have a lot in the works, and we can't wait to bring it out into the world. This is our moment. Thank you all so much.